How's it going, everybody? My name is Philip, and today I'm going to be reacting to 50 things that are only possible in Australia. Now, if you haven't checked it out yet, I do have a big list of AFL stuff, so Australian football rules, Australian Rules Football League. And I do a lot of rugby, and I've reacted to quite a bit of rugby stuff. So, it's one of those things, I'm very fascinated with Australia. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know. Other than the giant spiders and apparently very aggressive kangaroos, which apparently their pouches on the inside is like fleshy. I did not know that. I saw something and that ruined how I look at kangaroos now. But other than those, I don't know. I've just been very interested in Australia. So, and I would at some point like to travel to Australia in the future. I'd also like to travel to New Zealand. You know, those two, especially due to Lord of the Rings for New Zealand and The Hobbit and whatnot. Especially because apparently they're making a Lord of the Rings Amazon Prime series. Did not know that. That's kind of interesting and cool to know. If you're interested in that, that is. If you're not interested in that, then it's just like, well, that means absolutely nothing to you. Honestly. But, like I said, because I'm so interested in Australia and New Zealand, and at some point I would love to go to Australia, not just to watch Port Adelaide Power game, but also I'll actually wear that for something else, just a little bit of a surprise. Speaking of the Power. But I would love to, learn more about Australia, because American school system only teaches you about the U.S. and the World Wars. I mean, I remember they briefly talked about, like, the French Revolution. I think that might be it. I don't remember. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we talked about a lot of stuff in history. I zoned out for a lot of it. That's so bad, isn't it? I don't remember much. Russia. I don't remember much about the Cold War. I don't remember much about Vietnam. In the sense of I don't remember learning it. Especially with world history. I think we covered World War II the most in world history. Which is kind of weird, if I'm going to be honest. Anyways, so let's check out 50 things that are only possible in Australia. And I'm guessing fighting kangaroos is one of them. There's literally that one video of the guy punching a kangaroo because it was choking that guy's dog or something. I don't know. Damn Australians. Let's go. As always, the link to this video will be down in the description, and let's check it out.
Okay, it's pop quiz time. Which country has the longest fence in the world? How about the second largest Greek population? 3 times more sheep than people?
Australia.
Okay, one word will give it away. Kangaroos! Yeah, I'm talking about the land down under.
I knew it before you said kangaroos.
So, what do you know about Australia? So, let's start with the name. Australia comes from the Latin word australis, which means southern. Way back in the 2nd century, there were legends of a mysterious Terra Australis Incognita, or unknown southern land. Well, now it's very known. So, let's get to know more about it.
Not that known.
Despite the stereotypes of hot, sunny weather year-round, the Australian Alps, which are the highest mountain range in the country, get more snow than the Swiss Alps do. Better grab your skis. The world's longest national highway is in Australia. It stretches for over 9,000 miles.
Damn.
For comparison, the Earth's diameter is about 7,900 miles. It's actually a network of highways that connects all capitals of the mainland states. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Great Wall of China, but what about the Great Fence of Australia? Okay, that's not what it's called, but still, the Dingo Fence in southeast Australia stretches for nearly 3,500 miles.
Wow.
For comparison, it would easily cover the entire span of the U.S., from Los Angeles to Houghton, Maine.
Wow.
Now,
Never
it
heard
might
of that.
not be so
Houghton,
surprising
Maine.
to know that Australia is huge. It's about the same size as the continental US, about 2,500 miles wide. The distance from the west to east coast is further than Barcelona to Moscow. In all, Australia is the world's sixth largest country and the only one that's also a whole continent. But with all that
Nice.
territory, over 80% of Australians live within 60 miles of the coast.
I kind of
This
noticed
makes the
that.
country one of the most coastal-dwelling populations in the world.
One thing, because when I look at the map and I'm looking at where the cities are, I don't see anything centrally. Because for one, like map-wise, it makes it look like it's more of like a desert-y type of plains or something like that, which is kind of weird.
And that means a whole lot of beaches. In fact, they have so many that if you decided to visit a new beach every day, it would take you almost 30 years to see them all. The
Wow.
biggest property in Australia is about 40,000 square miles in area. South Korea could fit into it with room to spare. The country's termites are busy building huge properties as well. Their mounds are the tallest animal-made structures on this planet.
Oh, wow.
Before humans arrived, the continent was home to megafauna. If you lived there about 46,000 years ago, you'd be dead today. But
Obviously.
you would have seen 10-foot-tall kangaroos, 23-foot-long goanna lizards, and ducks the size of an adult horse. Quack,
give-
quack.
Y'all ducks be delivering pizza? Sorry, that.
The largest living structure on the planet is the Australian Great Barrier Reef. By the way, it has its own mailbox.
What?
And there's a rumor that the fish there use eel mail. Yeah. Neither kangaroos nor emus can walk backward. That's a fact. And that's why they're painted on the Australian coat of arms. Keep moving forward. The platypus, an egg-laying mammal that lives only in Australia, is one of
Really?
the rare venomous mammals on this planet. Luckily, while the venom has an excruciatingly painful effect on people, it's not lethal. The
Okay.
takeaway? Don't fuss with a platypus. By the way, when the
I
first
didn't know that.
platypus was brought to England, people there were sure that it was a joke. The English believed that Australians had sewn a duck's bill onto a rat's body to play a trick on them. Yeah, right up until he bit them. Not laughing now, are you?
I would.
Swimming in the surf during the day had been
Didn't bite
illegal
me.
in Australia up until 1902. But after one guy calmly entered the waves of Manly Beach one afternoon that year,
Manly?
surf bathing became increasingly popular. The largest Greek population outside of Greece itself is in Australia. Actually, to be more precise, in Melbourne. More than 160,000 people who live there say they come from Greek descent. Melbourne was the
interesting.
richest city in the world in 1880. These days, Tokyo, Japan holds this title. And until 2018, Melbourne had been rated as the most livable city in the world for 7 years in a row.
Huh.
But then it was bumped down to second place after Vienna, Austria. Come on, Melbourne, get back in the game. One of Melbourne's founders was John Batman. Yep, that was his real name. And get this, the city was temporarily called Batmania. Too bad they decided to change it to Robinville.
Call it Gotham. For fuck's sake, just call it Gotham. I mean, come on, it's the easiest name. It's apparently not copyrighted or something because a fucking women's soccer team got the name for their soccer team. It's like Gotham FC or something like that. Which I'm surprised that they haven't been sued yet by DC, but maybe DC doesn't care. But that's what I'm saying. Just call it Gotham, for crying out loud. How's that so difficult?
In 2018, Australia ranked third after Norway and Switzerland on the Human Development Index. This index is based on education, life expectancy, and citizens' income. Basically, they got a good thing going down
No,
under
I need
there.
to go to. I definitely need to move to
In
Australia.
2005, security guards at the Parliament House in Canberra were prohibited from calling people mate. But the ban only lasted for a day, mate.
What?
G'day. If you're ever in Western Australia, you can visit one of their many super salty pink lakes. They get the bubblegum hue from a certain type of algae and bacteria, and they're totally safe to swim in. Just be careful what you chew.
It does kind of look
Oh,
like it's
and be
almost
sure
blood.
to take a selfie while you're swimming in what looks like a giant pool of Pepto-Bismol. You can thank Australia for coming up with the word selfie in the first place.
Really?
There are about 74 million sheep to 25 million people in Australia,
Wow.
which makes an impressive ratio of 3 to 1. Only China and India have more than that. Oh, and the kangaroo thing is totally true. There are twice as many kangaroos as there are people there. That's 50 to 25 million.
Wow.
Speaking of which, when a baby kangaroo is born, it's only half an inch long. It's also hairless and totally pink. Kinda looks like a gummy bear. What else is there in Australia?
Sounds weird.
Oh, that's right, koalas. And to top that, there are 10 times more camels than koalas.
Really? Just
Australia is the
camels?
source of a lot of the Middle East's camels.
See, here's the thing though. Like normally we always think of camels as like a northern Africa thing, like Egypt and stuff like that. That's always like the typical Egyptian mode of or like Dubai or stuff like that. Like that's like Middle Eastern type of. So that's interesting that there's camels in Australia. I thought that if there would be, then it might be like in a zoo or some shit like that.
Now, in Western Australia, it's against the law to be in possession of more than 110 pounds of potatoes. Well, every country has its obscure, bizarre laws. The architect of the world-famous Sydney Opera House got the idea of this unique construction while munching on an orange. If you combine all the sails of the building's roof, you'll get a perfect sphere. The most ancient
Whoa,
fossils in the
that's
world were
interesting.
found in Australia. They were no less than 3.4 billion years old, even older than my leftovers in the fridge. There are so many different
Again, sorry I keep pausing this. How are we able to determine how old stuff is? Are we just guessing? Because that could just be due to the heat and humidity for like a couple hundred years. And then we just be guessing like, oh yeah, no, this is billions of years old. You know, we leave a sandwich out there. Yo, this is like a 100 years old sandwich. Check it out. How do we know? Like, what technique do they use? I swear, if it's like time travel, let me know. I'm here for you.
different species in this country that only 25% of them have been discovered so far.
Wow.
Of the animals discovered to be native to Australia, none have hooves.
Oh, I thought they were about to
Burger
say
King
unicorns.
miraculously turns into Hungry Jacks as soon as you land in Australia.
Oh.
It's the Aussie franchise of the famous fast food chain.
Wait, so it's like a mixture of Jack in a Box and Burger King? That's really interesting.
Australia is a unique continent that doesn't house any active volcanoes.
Yo.
It's also the flattest continent on our planet. But it's got plenty of mountains, and one of them is called Mount Disappointment. It's just 2,600 feet tall, and naturally, explorers William Hovell and Hamilton Hume expected to see a great view from the top. However, after climbing the mountain, they discovered that there were too many trees growing on top and blocking the view completely. Guess how the men felt? Australia has tons of unique flora and fauna species that you won't find anywhere else in the world. Among those are a staggering 1,500
Nah.
spider species.
Nah, get rid of
Spider
'em.
species, yeah. On the
No.
bright side, and we are, while some of them are fatally poisonous, most are completely harmless.
Don't care.
But
Get
how
rid
do
of
I
them
tell
all.
them apart? Oh,
What's the point in spiders? Seriously. What the fuck is the point of spiders? Get rid of them all. Including like those. I've seen pictures of those big ass spiders. Nah. I want to say burn them all, but I mean we know what happened a couple years ago with that giant fire. So control in a controlled environment, poison them all to death.
the poisonous ones were signs. Got it. It's also where you'll find 21 of the world's top 25 most venomous snakes. More than 90% of Australia is covered with some kind of vegetation.
Not even gonna lie, not sure
Since
about snakes either.
1988,
Burn them all
Australia
too.
has had a national floral emblem, and it's the golden wattle. When this
What's
plant
a wattle?
blooms, it gets covered with the country's national colors, green and gold. Australia is a
Oh, okay.
multinational country with more than 200 different languages and dialects spoken there.
That's
The
cool.
most popular non-English languages are Mandarin, Greek, Arabic, Vietnamese, and Cantonese.
Okay.
There are 19 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Australia, including 12 natural sites, 3 cultural sites, and 4 mixed sites. The difference between Australia's total length and its width is only 200 miles. Hey, do you have an 8-hour working day? You can thank Australian stonemasons for that. In 1865, they demanded to make 8-hour shifts the standard, and it spread throughout the world
How
from there.
dare you,
With 8
Australia?
people per square mile, Australia has an extremely low population density. For comparison, there are about 93 people per square mile in the US. The national Australian airline, Qantas, uses recycled cooking oil to power its interstate flights.
Oh.
So, have I missed any cool facts about
That's actually
Australia?
really cool.
Let me
Maybe
know
more
down in
people
the
need to do that.
comments. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend.
Yo, definitely
But
give it a
hey,
like. I
don't
learned
go
everything.
waltzing Matilda just yet. We have over 2,000 cool videos for you to check out. All you have to
Okay.
do is pick the
Also, though, why are y'all called Matildas? Did I miss that in this video? Why is it? Why are they? Why? Because yeah, I've never questioned that before until right now. Now I'm curious. Why are you guys? Why is Australia called the Matildas? I mean, because I've always heard of it. Because obviously I'm a huge soccer fan, and I do watch the women's soccer team quite a bit. And so when they go play Australia, they mention them as, oh, they're going to play the Matildas, they're going to play the Aussies, and blah blah blah. But they mention them every so often, very few amount of times, that they are called the Matildas. So. Or they reference them as the Matildas, which is interesting. So basically, let me know in the comment section below why that is. But also, if there's anything else like Australia related, let me know in the comment section below what other videos I should react to. Again, like I said, I am completely not infatuated, but I'm just completely interested. Let's just go with interested. I'm very interested in Australia and New Zealand, which I could probably do one on New Zealand as well. But for I don't know why. It just, for one, get rid of the snakes and the spiders, and I'm good to come down. Nah, but seriously though, like, if you at least get rid of the spiders, and I'm good to come down. I don't like spiders. I get bit so much, it's ridiculous. And I don't purposely they just somehow I see, like at work, I noticed them like at the last second. Like I'm almost about to lean on something and there's a spider on the thing. I'm like, oh shit, there's a spider there. Which, by the way, I work with food, so that's not good. That there's bugs in my room. Anyway, subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comment section below what else I should react to. And leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you guys next time.